I have thousands of hours in the Monster Hunter series of games, but I am far from what you would call a pro, so I decided it would be a good idea to give myself a challenge to see just how far I can get through Monster Hunter World without using any armour. I've never really done any challenges in any game, so this should be pretty interesting. So after making my character and going through the start of the game, I finally get to pick my first weapon. I've decided for this playthrough I'm going to try and use the gun lance. I'm not very good with the gun lance, honestly, I haven't got that much experience with it, but I'm hoping that having the shield is going to help. And compared to the lance, I'm a little bit better with the gun lance, and I'm more hopeful that I can do a lot more damage with it. So the first quest is a simple one, just kill some Jagras. So while that's going on in the background, let's go over the rules. As is obvious, I'm not allowed to wear any armour. My palico, however, is, as it really doesn't matter. I can use any weapon that I like, except for the defender weapons. Unless I'm grinding a monster that I've already killed, then I can use the defender weapons just to save a little bit of time. If I get far enough in the game, I am allowed to use charms. And finally, if I fail 3 hunts in a row of the same monster, then the challenge is over. So after wrapping up the first tutorial quest, I make the bone gun lance for a little extra damage before setting off onto the next hunt to kill some Kestodon. This is a great time for me to try and get the hang of the weapon, as I don't really have that much experience with the gun lance, and the one thing that I did notice is I really need to get used to blocking, as I'm not really used to using a weapon with a shield, but I wrap up it pretty quickly. Then we come face to face finally with our first large monster, the Great Jagras. And this is where the challenge really begins. So other than some badly timed attacks which cost me a few hits that I'm sure a seasoned Gunlance player wouldn't get hit by, and still forgetting that I have the ability to block, the hunt starts pretty well as I manage to continuously land some powerful attacks over and over before getting the Great Jagras to retreat to its cave.
Monster's really mad now. Be ready for some vicious attacks.
And just like that, the Great Jagras falls, meaning we have defeated the first monster of this challenge. So we carve it up, gather a few materials, and then claim our rewards. And just from that hunt, we got enough materials to make the Jagras gun lance, which gives us a nice power boost, and even enough to make a new set for our palico. After setting off on an expedition to find the location for a new camp, we discover a Kuli Yaku has trashed the place and we are quest with hunting it. And since I'm already here, I decided to go straight for it. Obviously, if I was to cart 3 times, I would class it as a loss. But to no one's surprise, it's an absolute pushover and is defeated with ease.
This is interesting. Let's report our findings to everyone at the resource center when we get back.
Next up is the Poke, which I was a little more worried about going into since it has the ability to poison me.
When you're poisoned, your health will gradually drop. Use an antidote as soon as possible.
But once again, it turned out to be quite a simple hunt. With 0 carts so far, I'm beginning to feel very confident, which hopefully won't in turn cause me to end up making any silly mistakes. Next up, one of my personal favourite monsters from Monster Hunter Tri, the Barroth. And after the past few hunts, I was feeling very confident going into it. But that confidence didn't last long, as you will see. So the Barroth took not just my first cart of the challenge, but the second quickly after. All that confidence I came into the hunt with was basically gone, but I wouldn't give up, and after trying to stop overextending my attacks and actually use my shields to block, I managed to finish the hunt first try with only 2 carts. After getting back from the hunt, the first thing I did was craft a Baroth gun lance, which offers a defense bonus, before setting out to hunt the Duratodus. This is one monster I'm very confident with, so when this happened, I couldn't believe it. I don't think in the entire time I've been playing Monster Hunter games I've ever actually carted to this monster, and just to rub salt in the wounds, it happened again. This was the moment I really figured out that my bad habits are screwing me up, so instead of going gung-ho like I usually would, I started to play more cautiously and slowed down, which paid off, as after that it was smooth sailing. The next monster on the list is Tobi-Kadachi, so I made the Duratodus gun lance since I know it's weak to water and then headed out. I was a little worried about this fight as Tobi is known to be a fast attacking monster and I am using a slow weapon, and I was right to be worried as he carted me twice, but they were definitely both because of my own incompetence as both of these could have easily been blocked. And then not long after, sadly, Tobi proved just how bad those habits of mine are that I mentioned earlier, and cost us the first triple cart of this challenge.
Whoops, you failed the quest. That's okay. Get yourself prepped and try again.
After making my Palico a swanky new outfit, that's exactly what we would do. Attempt 2 was off to a flying start, and with some patience and some well-timed blocks, down went Tobi-Kadachi with 0 carts. This next hunt is one that I'd been dreading, the Anjanath. Usually a wall for new players. Obviously I've faced hundreds of them, but never without the proper gear, so how would I fare now? It started off surprisingly well, but like the past few hunts have taught me, you should stay on your feet, as I ended up once again being carted twice.
Roll around and put the fire out, or your health is gonna be toast.
Now on my final cart, I finally locked in and started to get the hang of its patterns, and it looked as if I was nearing the end. Then the worst happened. I thought it was all over and I'd have to start the hunt again. But what I had not noticed was I actually had the feline insurance skill from the meal I'd ate before the hunt. This was it. I had one more life, one more chance to defeat this Anjanath. So even with one extra life, it wasn't enough, and the quest was failed. But it definitely feels possible. Attempt 2 started off well, with a mount straight off the bat and then trapping the Anjanath in some vines. It was taking a lot of damage early on. But this didn't last long, as soon after it took my first cart, and not long after that, a badly timed sharpen cost me my second. But that's fine, I knew going into this hunt I wasn't going to 0 cart run it. But what I didn't expect was to lose due to what seems to be broken hitboxes. Going into this third hunt, I'm now feeling the pressure. I decided to change weapon, giving up on the extra water damage to instead have some extra defense, and hopefully this will be the answer to surviving some of those hits. Final life. It's now or never. I either kill the Anjanath or I lose a challenge. I slowed right down, playing cautiously, and it pays off. I managed to get it limping and retreat to its final area. It's so close that I can taste it. And with that final card, Anjanath ends this challenge. I guess even with all the years I have played, I still need to practice more to beat this kind of challenge. Maybe I'll return to it and try again with a different weapon. What do you think I should try next? And can you do better? Give it a go and see how far you can get. Let me know in the comments how well you do. Be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed and subscribe to not miss the next video. I'll see you next time.